Welcome to Tea with Two, a wedding podcast, where we will spill the tea on everything to do with events and where we will discuss everything to do with weddings.
Hello and welcome to our Tea with Two podcast. Today we are at the beautiful Rushton Hall and we're here with wedding coordinator Maddie. Yay, I feel like we need a cheer for that.
Hello, Maddie.
Hi. Lovely to be here. Now, if you've not been, Rushton Hall is absolutely stunning. It is in Northamptonshire, beautiful place. We'll put some pictures up so you can see it as well. So we're here to chat with you about everything to do with weddings. So first of all, can you tell us what is a wedding coordinator for those who don't know?
So a wedding coordinator, I like to think I'm your starting point for the day. So take you all through the planning process, kind of make that nice and easy, give you sort of the timelines and work out the structure for the day, just to make the rest of the planning process a little bit easier, a little bit more seamless, and so that you can rock up to your wedding day and know that everything's done and it's all taken care of and you don't need to be worrying about, are those place cards out? Has the cake arrived? And all of the bits and bobs like that.
You are the little helper friend.
The guide in hand, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, how did you get into this? Because it's quite a unusual job. You don't come out of school kind of being like, I don't know, it's not an obvious option. So.
No, so I kind of went around the houses a little bit to end up in wedding coordination. So my background is performing, and alongside and in between contracts, I had just a hospitality job, just for funds in between and things like that. Was an assistant manager and started doing a lot more of events and stuff, and realised I needed another career that my muggle job, as I always refer to it when I'm not performing, needed to be something that I had like as much of a passion about as well. And just felt like the experience from that, experiencing it on the other side, went quite nicely with event planning and coordination.
Yeah.
And then, so just started looking for jobs really and ended up here in the wedding coordination.
You're right, Maddie. It's got to be, you said the right word, passion. That's what it's all about. If you don't have passion,
then there's no point. And when it's people's, like, it's such a special day for everybody as well. If you're not actually that invested and interested, it's going to tell in their planning process as well.
Absolutely.
It's to make everyone else's life easier, not more stressful.
So because you're there to make it easy for people, what sort of things do you do on the day? I know you've said you kind of run around, but I mean, let's just walk us through a typical day where the bride and groom are getting ready.
Yeah.
What are you doing behind the scenes? Because there's a lot that goes on that no one knows about.
Yeah, so on the morning of, once I arrive, so I normally arrive about 8:30, and I'm here when the suppliers can all start arriving, checking they all come in. If anyone's not turned up when I think they should have done, I'm ringing them to ask where they are, and just making sure the setup goes along with the couple's wishes. So during the planning process here, we make an entire document that we all have access to, so we know exactly where everything's supposed to be. So I go through, tick all of that off, make sure everything's all in place. I'll put the place cards out and, the favours, and check everyone's tables are all set nicely and that things are all good to go, really. So it's a lot of the setup and the logistical thing.
And trust me, as a wedding planner, all of that stuff is so important. I completely understand. And I think that's the thing. The couple want to be acknowledged that they can get ready and have no worries because you're doing it all.
Exactly. And a lot of our couples stay on site as well. So I like them to be able to just sort of almost wash their hands a bit when they come and check in and stay with us the night before, pass everything off to me, and then go and actually enjoy the day. We all know a wedding day goes so quickly. I know it's such a cliche thing to say and everyone always says it, but you want them to actually have enjoyed the entire process, not wait until 1:00 to be actually in the moment and enjoying it and experiencing it.
Absolutely. And I think organising suppliers is a whole ball game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, for those who aren't in the industry, suppliers are wonderful, don't get me wrong. But sometimes the coordination of them is a little bit difficult because they're all dropping off their equipment at different times.
Yeah.
They're coming in and out at different times of the day because obviously the florist would come early, whereas the DJ would come later.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that? Because there's a lot going on, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts and it does vary from wedding to wedding. You'll have some weddings that will have 10, 15 suppliers and some that will only have 3 or 4. It just depends.
Yeah.
I always think as well, it's a whole team effort. On a wedding day, there's not one supplier that's more important than another supplier.
Absolutely.
So it is that thing of just managing So everyone's got the space that they need and stuff like that. And we can all work around each other and fit in. We'll try and, like you say, help as much as possible in storage, but it is more the logistics of everyone's carrying things in at the same time and making sure we're not all banging and crashing and in each other's way. It happens, yeah.
I love going to Rushton Hall. I mean, the grandeur of the place. But when we first greet the couple, do you actually know what they're looking for because they've chosen Rushton Hall?
Yeah, I think with the venue planning and things like that, couples always have a bit of an idea of what they want the day to come and to look like. And I think the venue very much is like the building block of the tone for the day. Once you've made that decision, that'll influence like your styling, your dress, your colour schemes and things like that. So I do think a lot of the time when people come here, they've got a bit of an inkling of what they want from the day and the vibe and tone they want to set.
So they're always looking for a stately manner.
Normally, yeah. It's very rare that we get people that are looking for something slightly different. I think especially with Bridgerton as well. We're very Bridgerton vibes here, and that's a big kind of style and trend at the moment. So
it certainly gives off that vibe, the Bridgerton.
Oh, it's beautiful here. The chandeliers, we'll put some pictures up of those as well. But we were speaking on an episode before this one about that couples need to kind of chat with each other and make sure they're on the same page of their venue. Because if one wants a barn and one wants a stately home, you've obviously got a bit of a split opinion.
Exactly. And they're not vibes that kind of align completely.
No. So you'd hope that the couples have had those conversations before they even come and view your beautiful place. So when you take couples round for a viewing, obviously you know what the main factors are to show them, but what are red flags that couples should look for at other venues? Not saying that all venues have red flags, but what are the key points that you would say to a couple to look for at a venue?
Yeah, so I think a big one is flexibility. Like, especially from a venue side, we're all of a similar setup. You're usually doing a venue hire. It's normally packages on top. But no wedding is exactly the same. Even if you are going off that, there is no two wedding that is exactly the same. So I think you need to know that that venue's got some kind of flexibility. And whether that's space or timings, I think, your ceremony, and that's what you're there for the advice for as well.
Absolutely.
But there does need to be some kind of adaptability as well, because I think the venue and the day, it should be about a couple's personalities. And again, that's why they're never the same. So if they've not got some sort of, willingness to work alongside that and amend and adapt, then you're not going to get the full day.
Amen. It's so true.
That's why we love you, because you understand that. Now, we go to a lot of venues. And I suppose you kind of don't, because you're based here,
yeah.
Which is lovely. But sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with this, there's some venues which are what we call conveyor belt venues. Yeah. Nothing wrong with it, because it might be that couple are really busy. They just want to go for what works for them, and just kind of do it their way. But for you, like you say, you will sit down with your couples, you will go through, you want this, we suggest this time in, and give them the ideas as well.
Exactly that. And that's what I'd like to think. I'm here for suggestions. Like, we know what tends to work well, because we have done quite a few weddings. So we do know what works well, but that doesn't mean that's exactly what a couple has to do. That doesn't normally always work for them. But we're here just to sort of offer that advice and guidance, and then let them take that and either run with it or say, actually, no, can we work with it this way? And we'll see and fit it all in.
Love it. It's so refreshing to hear. I love it.
I love coming here.
And I suppose, you've kind of just sold yourself to us anyway as wedding professionals, because you guys stand out as a wedding venue to us, because I feel like you really take the couple's interest to heart. But what would you say is what makes Rushton Hall and your team stand out? Because I could go on a list for reasons, but it's nice to hear it from you.
Oh,
pressure.
Yeah, I know. That's a big question. Let me just sell myself to everybody. But no, I think here it's a mixture of, because we've got that balance of what you want from a stately home, which is that kind of old world, historical, the high ceilings, but a modern couple and a modern venue. So it's kind of matched. I think it's the best of both worlds here, where you can have the nod to one and the other, and it's kind of merged all together. And I think just we try and keep everything. We only do one wedding a day, and we're really keen on that. And we really we don't allow external photography and stuff like that to try and keep it special for the couples that have invested in us. So I'd like to think as much as a couple's investing in us, we're investing just the same amount back into them and looking after them. And I think because we're quite a small team as well, it's a bit more of a personable approach. We are busy. We do a lot of weddings, but I'd like to think that everyone's still got that personal connection with us and those of you that work on the day.
Absolutely.
From the bar staff and the waiting staff and the guys that are in the room serving, as well as myself, because it isn't just me. There's an amazing body of staff in this hotel and we all support each other and work alongside each other. I wouldn't be able to do it without all of them. And yeah, I think it's just the way that we gel all together. And
you do give that personal touch, and I've noticed that when I come to Rushton Hall, that your staff do go above and beyond.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
everybody, like you say, the whole team, every member of staff. So we applaud you on that.
Yeah, it's hard to find, it's good staff.
It is. And, I think most people want the best for a wedding day, but I think listening to the couple is sometimes forgotten. So if there are couples listening to this, make sure that you're heard, make sure that your wishes are put forward. And sometimes there are reasons why it can't happen. For example, if you, I don't know, want to have a party at 2:00 in the morning and it's a hotel with guests, they might say you can, but you just have to turn the music down. There is always something that might, logistically be a problem, but you should be heard in your wishes and what you want. And that's for sure.
The great thing about Rushton Hall is they have the cellar bar.
We do love the cellar bar.
Well, you don't have that problem.
The cellar bar's our little hidden gem for those that do like a party. So, yeah, if we've got those, they go for the exclusive use, and then that means that those guys, they can go down to the cellar till 3 a.m.
Wow.
It's very much it's our little secret weapon. It's our little nightclub after party vibes down there. But
I love that place.
It's one of my favourite spaces.
Do you know what? We should have done the podcast down there, shouldn't we? It would have been really cool. No, I think the beautiful orange room works much nicer. So obviously weddings are expensive for couples, and what would you say is something that couples probably spend unnecessarily on? Because there's, it's expensive. By the time you add up your photographer, videographer and stuff, there's a lot.
Yeah.
So what would you say is something that maybe to you, because obviously this is all opinion based, is not as important to spend your money on?
I don't know whether this might end up being a bit controversial, but for me, it's all the added little extra bits, favours. Unless it's a favour that people can eat or drink, they don't take it home. It gets left on the table. You've spent all this money, it soon adds up on something really cute and personalised, and it will get viewed for 30 seconds and then it's forgotten about and left. And things like the flip-flop basket and the bathroom baskets.
Yeah.
They're all things that soon start adding up that I think people feel pressured that they have to provide. But no one leaves a wedding the next day and goes, do you know why I loved their wedding so much? The pair of flip-flops that was on the dance floor at the end. That's not what people are thinking about.
So true.
And I think on like a styling and like a decor point of view as well, like I try and say to my couples all the time, like flowers and floristry. Obviously you need it and it's stunning. But there's clever ways to double up and utilize things more than one way instead of, spending out even more, because flowers are expensive. They are beautiful and I always think there's a place for them, but they're so expensive. And I think there's clever ways to double up now and things like that and really maximize your budget towards it.
Exactly.
Advantage of the decor here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. When you've got a stunning space such as Rushton Hall, you don't really need to add too much to it.
No,
almost.
I think sometimes simple is more effective as well. And I think it's easy. The wedding industry as a whole is so huge. Like I remember a few months ago, we were at the National Wedding Show. And even me, I was walking around and I could not believe like all the different vendors and the things that you can get now.
Yeah,
and I think it's so
much.
easy to get swept up into it and think you need like 7 different things for entertainment for the guests in 1 hour and things like that. It's easy to lose sight of what's actually important to you and what we want people to remember the wedding by.
We find that you can overkill it really. Like I feel like sometimes couples feel like they have to have something happen every single minute of the day. Not every single minute, but if there's like half an hour gap, they thought, we've got half an hour gap. Don't worry about it.
No, I
Just
think
chill.
it's really important to have, like, we always try and build in at the end of the meal a little bit of time anyway, because everyone does need a little bit of refresh.
Yeah.
Especially here, like, that's when we'll try and get guests to go and check into their bedrooms as well, so they've not gone wandering off when you actually want them about for things. But I think everyone does need a little bit of refresh time. And even the couple, it's such an overwhelming
Oh my
day where
gosh.
there's so much going on, and like, your social battery gets depleted quite quickly. Like, you need a quick half an hour just to sort of take stock of what's
Digest it
happening
all.
for the day. Yeah, absorb it all, digest it all, and then go again.
I also think,
Very similar to like a main meal. If you go, like, your wedding breakfast, took the last gulp of your wedding breakfast, main meal, and then we're sitting the waiter throws the dessert. It's like, hang on, it's too much.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. And I think, I think a lot of couples just, don't have time by themselves.
No.
Because there's so much going on. You're greeting your guests, you're having your pictures done, you're eating your meal, you're watching this, you're watching that. You've not actually seen your husband or wife.
No.
Which,
No, and trying to keep track of where the other one is all day, it's quite hard because you get split, you've got different friends groups and stuff like that. But yeah, you often see it where you'll see groom one end of the room and bride the other. And like you say, they don't necessarily get to spend as much time with each other on the day and absorb that you've got this room full of people. They're all here because they love you, which I always think is such a nice sentiment. And then you don't necessarily get to sort of enjoy that as a picture.
I totally agree. And that's something we were talking about on the last episode as well, that, there's only one time in your life really where you've got to have every single person you love in one room all together. And that's a wedding, which is lovely. So I think taking some time out, that's a really, really good tip and really important for everybody as well. But equally then, what do you reckon are small details that make a big difference? The little things where you go, actually, that's made a huge impact to the day.
My big thing that I always say, and if people have got a little bit extra in their budget, this is the thing that I always tell them to spend it on, is your music. And whether that's live or DJ, because I think it sets such a tone for the day. And people don't realise, but it's a small detail that does really change the atmosphere at times. So I think if you've got a little bit of extra, that's really where you should be putting it into. Like for the ceremony and your drinks reception especially, I think live entertainment at those points really does elevate the day massively. And that's what will make it feel a little bit more like luxury and a bit more of an occasion than just, I'm not saying that a playlist is wrong. I'm just saying if you've got a little bit of extra, that's really what does take it up a notch, I think, for me.
Yeah, music is powerful. If it's done in the right way as well and staged in the right way, it works tremendously. It gets everyone.
Yeah, and the feeling it creates as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's nice to hear it from you because obviously we're based in entertainment. That's where our roots stem from. So we obviously think that's important, but it's nice to hear it from you. And we didn't pay you to say it.
No, I don't want to go on about it. No.
But it is about, I think a lot of people don't realise at a wedding, it's the vibe. And you can't, you can't make the vibe. It's not something you can pre-plan like a wedding favour or an invitation or flowers, but it is something that happens and actually is probably the most impactful thing of the day. So saying about entertainment, I think is a really good point because that is what brings the vibe.
Yeah.
As well as your guests and the general mood and everything, obviously. But that does, you have someone playing a saxophone, you can't help but not get up.
You can't beat that. It's always a crowd pleaser. Yeah. But even coming down to your DJ for the evening reception, like it's worth investing that little bit more in a DJ who can read the room. That's what you need. Like, they're more than just, it's not the same as playing a playlist. Like, they need to know what, obviously, style of music you like and what's going to get people up, but they know how to cater for when you do inevitably get that little lull and building it back up and everything.
Yeah.
So,
and there are moments in the evening, when the evening food comes out, obviously everyone leaves the dance floor, they go and have a little munch and, a little drink. But like you say, then to bring it back, actually, that's quite a skill. To just get a room of people suddenly back on the dance floor, you've got to have some craft in that. So I think people often overlook the DJs.
Yeah.
And a good DJ is really hard to find.
For sure.
And the good ones, cling on to them because they are wonderful. Leading on to the next thing, I think DJs tend to be a little bit of a pet peeve of people. And when I say that, I mean in the way of, hello, ladies and gentlemen, can we all get on the floor? Those sorts of DJs. Nothing wrong with that if that's your vibe. Sometimes at a wedding, not the vibe. For my birthday, 100%, I love it. But what would you say is a little pet peeve of yours at a wedding? And this can be to do with guests, people, suppliers, whatever you want. what would you say? I've got a list.
Or
I've got a list.
I think my big one is lateness.
That's yeah, okay, I didn't think that.
I've had so many near misses where we've brought the bride down and we're trying to keep her concealed, and so people haven't seen the dress, and then you'll see a guest running by you. And I know people have their reasons sometimes and you can't help everything, but yeah, lateness, that's my biggest. At my wedding, nobody will be late. You'll be barred from coming in if you're late.
Make the invitations half an hour
Yeah,
early.
half an hour earlier.
Yeah.
What I would say a pet peeve for me is drunkenness too early.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And people peaking too soon. We've been at many a wedding where old Uncle Roger has had too many by about 3 o'clock. And then by about 5 o'clock, he's kind of propped up at the dinner table. And you're just like, no one needs to see
I
that.
think it's old people.
No, it's not old people. I'm just saying old Uncle Roger.
Yeah,
but I mean, often it's like best men.
Yeah.
Always the best men, but that group of guys, nothing. I'm glad they're enjoying themselves, but I think you just need to recognise that a wedding's a long day. You've got to pace yourself.
But also, you need to recognise you're there to celebrate the couple getting married and celebrate the day with them. Not there to get drunk and have a free party.
Well, yeah.
You've got to remember why you're there.
I think that's a massive thing, isn't it?
I think people forget.
I think people lose sight of what a wedding is.
Yeah.
And it's actually a union of two people giving each other their lives together. And that's a huge thing to celebrate. That's lovely. But like you say, people look at it as a massive free-for-all party.
Yeah, I think sometimes it is easy to lose sight of the actual sentiment of the day and everything.
That's your pet peeve.
Well, it is, yeah. I just like, have you forgotten why you're here? You need to realise that you're here to celebrate the couple's marriage.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
be happy for them. And, yeah.
It's difficult, isn't it? There's also a lot of stress, and I think we have seen on the occasion, and you might have as well, where maybe the mother or father of the bride or groom may also get a little bit too merry, and I think often that's nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when I've seen it before and people have peaked too soon. It's very much a case of they know they've got that big speech coming up or that little moment that they need to do, and it's easy. But like people always forget to eat. I always say to people the morning of, they always forget to eat because they're nervous, like especially the bride and groom, and then that passes on to family as well.
Yeah.
And then they get to like 3 o'clock and they've not had anything to eat since last night's dinner. So big.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, we do. I know we always say like, come on, you need to try and have something like a little croissants, a few tactical croissants in the morning of a wedding. Yeah, they do. You go up and see bride in the morning, and obviously it's a busy morning. You know what it's like up in a bridal suite. You've got all your family and friends, but it does get a bit chaotic when you've got all the girls. You're all having your hair and makeup done. You feel a bit nervous, and then it's easy to just think, oh, I feel sick. I don't want to eat, or I don't want to look bloated in my wedding dress or anything like that. But yeah, no, a big breakfast on the morning of, very much needed.
And I think a lot, like you say, a lot of people don't actually eat on the day. I remember when we got married, I was just so scared I was going to drop something down my dress because I'm just that person.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like had a mouthful, and which was a shame because the food was great.
It's like your canapes as well. The couple always end up missing out on their canapes because they're having photos. So we really try and keep theirs separate and send like the Toastmaster out with them to make sure they've got them while they're having the photos. Otherwise, again, they've organised something really lovely for all their guests to have, and then they don't even get to experience it themselves.
Yeah.
I know. And do you know what? So many couples forget that to ask for a plate aside. And a lot of venues oversight it as well. And particularly if you're having like a DIY wedding where you're having a dry hire, make sure you tell the caterers to have that little canapes, some water, just set aside for the couple, because actually that's a massive thing, and that's why people start fainting, and that happens a lot, doesn't it? A lot of fainting at weddings. Drink your water.
Yeah, marquee weddings where we've done big marquee weddings where in the middle of a field where it's very hot.
Oh gosh, they are.
Weekend we did, oh god, it was like a sweatbox, wasn't it?
It was like the hottest day of the
You
year.
didn't experience that because you air conditioned.
Yeah, luckily we don't have air conditioning, so we're not too bad on that front. But yeah,
Which is good as well, because you've got massive, beautiful windows here. So you need that because of the sun.
and we are lucky here in one aspect because the sun does move around, so we have always got that coming in from. We've got that all day. It will move around and be through here, so you have always got the sun coming through. But yeah, good aircon, much needed.
Do you always recommend to the couples where to have their top table? Do you always let you use this?
Yeah, so we always use just sort of along this along the windows behind us here, and keep the room. I always say landscape as well.
Yes.
But that's also then so that everyone's looking out and they've got the view. So then for pictures and speeches and videos, you've got all of that in the background. But also then later on, if you've managed to fit all in this one space when we open it up for the dance floor, everyone's still got their base, but then like Nan, who doesn't necessarily want to be on the dance floor, but she still wants to feel involved, she can still be sat and see everything that's going on and feel part of it.
It's beautiful like that. And I'm sure if you're watching on YouTube, you can see behind us, it's beautiful grounds. And the orange is just stunning.
Take a look at the website.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
but that's something as well with your room, wherever you're getting married, whether it be a marquee, whatever, landscape, I think is really important, because if your portrait with the top table at the top, you're really far away from the people at the back. And that's a silly little thing that probably people don't think about.
And I think the wedding breakfast as well, you still want that to feel always quite cozy and intimate. You don't want to feel too far away. So yeah, that's what we really try and encourage here, keeping it, if that's what couples want, obviously, keeping it more intimate and cozy, so you don't feel too far away. You can actually see everybody, and then because it's a nice way of that guilt of have we actually said hello to everybody on a wedding day. It's an easy way to then just get up in between courses and have a quick chat and hi to everybody, and then go back, and no one feels like there's, they've been placed at the back corner of the room. And
you're our least favourite friend. Go over there.
Well, that's the thing about when you're doing the tables and spreading the tables around the room. If you do spread it too far, you do get that cold feeling of, that's my pet hate.
Oh, that's your pet peeve. Yes, I remember you saying about that.
When a venue spreads everyone around the room just to fill up the whole room, whereas you could just compress it in so everyone feels together.
Yeah.
It makes it feel warmer, like you say, Maddie.
Yeah.
That coziness.
I think the ceremony and the wedding breakfast, that's when you want it to feel quite intimate.
Yeah.
Because like you say, when are you going to have all these people together in a room ever again? And then, your drinks reception and your evening reception, that's when you want like open spaces, party. But again, it's easy for that to feel too big as well, I think. Oh
yeah, I think with some venues, they've got beautiful grounds and people kind of scatter and you're like, where is everyone? If you've got 80 guests, they can disperse quite easily. So to keep them together, maybe have a focus point or something that's really helpful. You must have seen so many weddings in your time. Tell us a favourite, don't tell us the couple, just the vibe or something that happened that made it stick out in your mind.
So like I said before, I think it's very much you want your personality to shine through. So those are the weddings that always stand out to me, the ones where people come and they've got a really clear vision. And I think here the space, it's quite neutral and it's a blank canvas. So we've had this wedding where they came and did a complete different setup of a ceremony room and the space and how they did it. And they actually had the ceremony on a stage in the middle of the room with the guests sort of like sat around, almost, I'm going to say like a rainbow, but arches. And they still had the aisle and everything to that in the middle of the room. And that's something I never would have thought of, but that was so stunning. It was such a beautiful setup because it was a little bit different as well, but it utilized the space. And then again, for the ceremony, people weren't that far away. People were much closer to the couple rather than you being sat at the back of the room. I think that they had this massive vision for the day and they carried that through for the rest of the day. And it was all these little things that I would myself have never thought of. And now they've done that, I think, what a great idea. That looks amazing.
Do you now recommend that to other couples?
I mean, it's something that I'll definitely suggest. Don't get me wrong, a lot of that was done by a styling company. So because they had this vision, so they had little stages and stuff like that. So there was a lot of extra stuff that went into that to make it really work the way that it did. But definitely whenever people give me cool ideas, I'm like, I'll remember that and keep it in the pocket, because I think it's just a testament as well on our part of how flexible the space can be.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I love that circular kind of arched ceremony thing. It's like, say, everybody is close. We've done a few like that, and I just think it's quite stunning.
Yeah.
And everybody feels included, and it's almost like everyone's part of the show. I feel like sometimes part of the show. It's not a show.
It's their show.
It's their show. But when you're kind of in your formal setup of front to back, which is lovely. But those at the back, they are included, obviously, but they're further away.
Yeah.
Like you say, just logistically, when you've got that kind of circular arch thing, everybody's the same distance apart.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, it gives it a nice, like you say, warm
Yeah,
feel.
it really brought them in. So, yeah, no, it was so different, but that was definitely something that will be really memorable now.
Oh, yeah. And in the space, that would work beautifully as well. So, if you had to give one piece of advice to someone who's just starting to plan their wedding, I know that's a big question, but what would it be?
Ooh, there's so many.
I know.
I think the main thing is always my one thing that I bang on all the time about is wedding insurance. I know that's kind of almost not a very positive thing to be talking about, but it's my one thing that I always say to people, sort that. Like, you're never going to buy anything else for as much money as you're going to spend on a wedding and not have it insured.
Exactly.
The cheapest thing you'll pay for as well.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be, you don't need to budget quite so much into that. But I think it's something people don't even think about and consider. And it's like, if you got poorly, or how many stag do's do people come back from with like a broken leg, or, all sorts of things that can stop you. So that's my one major, when you're starting out, anybody, anywhere.
Absolutely.
Do that.
It's kind of, like you say, a bit boring, but it's got to be done.
But it's got to be done. And I don't think you don't see adverts for it.
No.
Like, it's not something that's highly advertised, which is crazy to me.
And since COVID, I think that's brought to the forefront of people's minds a little bit more that anything can happen.
For sure.
And, we've had many a wedding been put back for many reasons, out of people's control. So, like you say, having that insurance just helps.
It's just an extra bit of peace of mind. But I think from a venue point of view, it would be your time and a few ceremony. Obviously, every venue and everything's got a slight different view. But I think once you've decided on your ceremony time, that dictates so much more of your day.
It does.
Right up until what kind of photos you're going to have, because maybe you're having them a little bit later on in the day and they're more sunset and the mood and stuff that you create from that.
It's a huge
But that is your timeline. Once you've put that in, you've locked in your entire day. And I think people don't always consider it. And then, bless them, people are getting up at 5 a.m. to have hair and makeup done because they've got such an early ceremony, and you want to have all your getting ready photos and your first looks and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely your timeline for the day. That's a big one.
It stresses me out sometimes when you get a really early wedding or a really late wedding ceremony. Late ones freak me out when they've got a lot of stuff that they want included in the day because it just physically doesn't fit in, which is why I like a wedding weekend. But anyway, that's a whole other story. We won't go into that right now. That's another episode. So we're kind of going to round this up a little bit, but we're just going to go on to kind of the trends at the minute. We're sitting here in June, so there's a lot of... I know it doesn't look like June, does it? But there's a lot of weddings coming up now. It's kind of that summer season. So what is a trend that you've seen recently that you feel like this summer season is going to be a massive thing?
The champagne towers have been knocking about since last year, and I'm a big fan of them. We love a champagne tower and a champagne spray. I just think they're always such a cool little added thing that people aren't necessarily always considering.
It's better than the cake cut. The cake cut, nothing happens. The champagne tower, it's like,
big fan of them. I'm a big fan of them. But yeah, trend-wise, there's a lot of different things that are cropping up now. I think a lot more interactive things for your guests is like a huge thing that I'm seeing. A lot of your like roaming entertainment, your caricaturists, your illustrators, those sorts of things.
Singing waiters.
Of course, but very much that kind of more interactive style things for your guests, and casino tables and things like that, like considering what they can actually go and do and whatnot as well. So I think that's quite a big thing.
It's nice that couples are thinking of the experience.
I think that's what a lot of people are considering now, the overall guest experience, rather than just traditions that they feel like they have to do.
Which is lovely, but equally, it's not a performance.
No.
So it's a very delicate balancing act, a wedding. It's got to be about you, it's got to be personable, but equally, you don't want it too far that it's like a great big crazy circus. In a nice way. I mean,
overkill it, like we said earlier. Don't want to
tasteful.
It.
Interactive experiences. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I think that's really, really important. And what do you think is a stress for couples that maybe they don't realise, is going to be a stress?
Oh, the seating plan,
Oh.
table plan. I think that's
Dramas.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest bits. Like, you've got a bunch of people, and then when you start looking and you think, oh, well, this is the setup that I want of the room, and that's how many tables I want. And in a perfect world, we all love symmetry.
Yeah.
So we would all love an even amount of people per table, but it just never happens. And trying to work out who can sit with who and who's friends. And there's always, I've had this as weddings even that I've attended where you don't know other people. So you've got to work out who that they would kind of fit in and figure that out. I think that's actually one of those things that people don't necessarily think of.
Oh,
and then sit down and look at it and think, how am I gonna make this work?
Will they get on?
Will they get on? I think that's a big one, isn't it? Because you got to make sure that, especially when you get families that may have blended families and things, makes it a little bit more tricky. But I think we should all be like Monica and Friends in this, when you have a little diagram with the flags.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you're a fool. No, I'm joking.
And a Post-it note. I'm a big fan of a Post-it
note. Literally, it's like, crime investigators when they're putting it all up on the wall with the strings. That's basically what you've got to do. I am joking, but So we're going to kind of round up our lovely podcast session today. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you.
It's been lovely. And please take a look at Rushton Hall. It's absolutely stunning. Beautiful place. One of our favourites. We shouldn't say that, but it's true. So before you go, we're going to do a very quick fire round of this or that.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Oh.
I'm going to say it to both of you because I don't actually know what your answers would be either. So, summer or winter wedding?
Oh, winter.
Summer.
Really? We got married in winter.
I know, but I love this summer.
He's changed his mind now, which is you've done the other.
I like a winter wedding as well.
I never used to think, I thought I'd be summer weddings all the way, but I think there's something really special about a winter wedding.
And it gets darker quicker.
Yes.
Which is nice because then the party. It's nice.
I get that as well, because when you have a winter wedding, it's Christmas.
Yes.
And you can take advantage of the venue's Christmas decoration.
Free decoration.
And I think, we're in England. When can you ever guarantee the weather? So if you're not due, exactly.
Okay, next one. Indoor or outdoor ceremony?
I think I'm going to stick with indoor.
Okay.
I would say whatever the weather is outside. How the weather is outside.
I say indoor as well, purely because if I was the bride, I won't want like hair across my face with the wind.
And I think you can always have a dramatic moment with the doors.
Yes.
Opening for an indoor wedding, which you don't get outside.
That's very true.
And I'm you've got to milk the day as much as possible.
Absolutely. It's your one day to be like, it's all about me.
I get that. I can see that with the doors open, the bride comes walking down the aisle. It's that grand entrance. So, yeah, I would say indoor.
We're all indoors people. So, sit down meals or sharing feasts?
I would say sit down meal.
Yeah. I just think sit down meal, I know it can feel too formal sometimes, but I just think it's the way it's got to be done.
I do as well. I feel like the evening's more for the grazing, sharing.
Agreed.
Chilled out food vibes, truck vibes. Whereas the day, it's nice to have that formality a little bit.
It depends on the venue.
Yes,
If you're at Rushton Hall, I don't think a sharing meal would work.
No.
It's not that kind of vibe.
No. And like I say, it all comes down to the tone and the atmosphere that you're trying to create on the day.
All these questions are meant to be quick fire and then we'll analyse it. Okay, next one. First look, yes or no?
Oh, with who?
Oh, sorry. Bride and groom first.
Oh, no.
No.
No. I'm not a fan. Oh, you're laughing.
No.
I think it should just be at the aisle. It's such a special moment. I'm sure you've seen it when you've been in ceremonies. That is just such a special moment that's captured so authentically then.
It is. And I think with the first look as well, you can have that moment with your parents or other close family members, and that's special.
I think with dad, that's the bit that always gets me on the morning.
Oh, wow.
First look with dad or mum, parents, whoever's grandparents. There's so many of them. Or like your best mates when it's the girls. They're the bits that always get you in the morning.
They do, don't they? And then you start crying, you ruin your makeup.
Yeah.
Confetti or sparklers? You will have both.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Not at the same time, so it might set on fire, but you know.
Confetti exit.
Confetti exit.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the word exit. Sorry.
Oh,
I didn't read
confetti
it.
exit or sparkler exit. Okay.
Oh, a sparkler exit, I think.
Good for pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although
It's got to be dark.
it's got, yeah, that's the thing with summer weddings.
Yeah.
Winter weddings are better. And do you personally prefer the traditional kind of church-based wedding, or are you more for the celebrants and a bit more modern?
I think I'm going celebrants and a bit more modern.
I like the church wedding.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a traditionalist. Even though
Yeah.
I'm not religious, there's no faith that I follow, but I just like it's the nice touch, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't do it any other time,
No.
but celebrants are
I just
equally
think
awesome.
celebrants, the effort that they go to,
Oh,
the
yeah.
day is so much more personal. The ceremony, is so much more
Yes.
personable than when you've got like a traditional kind of church or
Yeah.
registrar situation.
I think I just like the church.
You just
Yeah.
like the building, don't you?
The building,
Yeah.
Aesthetic.
the organ, and
Organ, Phantom of the
I-
Opera
I
vibe.
don't know. It's just the sound and the echo, and it just sounds grand. It's grand. I like grandeur about this place.
Yes, we do like a grand place, I have to
Yeah.
say. Well, thank you so much. It's been absolutely lovely.
Thank you
speaking
for
to
having me.
And we will see you again soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see you
thank you,
soon.
Maddie.
Thanks.